I'll just start with flashing few photographs, and I would like to know from you to or identify these war heroes or martyrs, right? Anyone? Anybody? Okay, anybody from the Navy? Major Somnath Sharma. He is the first recipient of the Paramveer Chakra, which he was awarded posthumously way back in 1950. So sometime in November 1947, there was an ambush in the Kashmir Valley by the Pakistanis, and he, for his action and for his self-sacrifice, he was awarded. This is the highest award being given to any military personnel during war. So which was awarded to him. And a little bit about his family. His father was a lieutenant general in the army. His elder brother retired as the chief of the army staff. Another elder brother of his was the lieutenant general in charge of the engineering branch, who was the engineering in chief, we call it. And his sister was an army doctor. So that is a family which is completely committed to the armed forces. And I don't know how many of you know that that 21 prominent islands in the Andaman Nicobar region is named after the 21 Paramveer Chakra awardees. How many of you know this? This happened just about 2 years back. So one of the islands is named after Major Somnath Sharma. Yeah, can anybody identify him? Anyone from the Navy? Okay, I think I'll move ahead. Captain Mahendranath Mulla. He was commanding INS Kukri way back in 1971 war. During the war, the ship was unfortunately hit by a Pakistani submarine torpedo. He could sense that the ship is not going to survive. He ordered abandon ship, which is generally not ordered by a commanding officer unless he is forced to. He ensured rescue operations of all his officers and team, and finally decided to stay back in the ship and went down with the ship. So he again was posthumously awarded the Mahavir Chakra. Anybody can identify him? He is the first disabled war hero or soldier to be going up to the rank or serving up to the rank of Major General. Any idea what rank is Major General or what level it is? Anybody who has any idea about the rank structure in the armed forces? I'll be covering this, but in case you are aware. See, I'm trying to make this a little interactive so that you guys participate. He was just a lieutenant. Again, during the 71 war, he accidentally stepped on a mine, and his left leg was injured. There was no medical care available immediately for him. So he used his kukri or knife and then chopped off the portion below his knees. Subsequently, of course, with an artificial limb, he had to prove his fitness. Otherwise, you are boarded out medically when you are unfit. But he wanted to continue and serve the nation or continue to serve in uniform. So he walked up with this artificial Jaipur leg that we call it then, up to the base camp of Siachen. And subsequently he retired as a Major General, which is the third highest rank in the Indian Army. And presently he is active in the social media. You can Google. He has written a lot of books on military war heroes. How many of you read books on war heroes? Anybody who's read this book called The Most Fearless? I'll share the soft copy of the book with manual so that all of you can pick it up and read this book. It's about the various war heroes and martyrs. Anybody about any idea about who this brave soldier is? Captain Bana Singh. See, in 1987, Siachen, the one of the top peaks in Siachen Glacier was captured by the Pakistanis, and it was he and his team, then he was in Naib Subedar. They pushed back the Pakistanis and recaptured that peak. And that peak is named after the present Captain Bana Singh. And one of the islands in Andaman area is also named after him. And he is presently 75-year-old. I don't know whether you have seen the newspapers. 2 days back, the army chief had gone and visited him in a hospital in Delhi. So he is another Paramveer Chakra awardee. I'm sure you will know him. Yes. So how many of you have seen this movie, Sher Shah, I'm sorry. This was in 2022, right? Yeah. Captain Batra, you know, his father was a principal, school principal, mother was a teacher, and he got a very good placement in a shipping company in Hong Kong. Are you aware of this? After graduation. But he chose to serve the armed forces. He joined the armed forces through the CDS entry. I'll come to the various types of entry. He joined the IMA in Dehradun, Indian Military Academy. And then subsequently he did his commando course from Belgaum. And Kargil is there in everybody, all of us know what happened in Kargil and what was his contribution, right? Something very unique about him is that he and his team, they conquered one peak called as .5140. You're aware that there are peaks there which are numbered. Subsequently he was injured there and he was told that okay, now you can rest, you are not fit to fight. But he chose to continue to fight and go and conquer the next peak. And during that process, while he was trying to save one of his soldiers, he lost his life, or he sacrificed himself. I'm sure all of you know him. Pardon me? Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan. What is his contribution? One of you can tell me what happened in Mumbai 26/11. I'm sure all of us know this. You've seen this Mumbai Diaries, the web series, or please see it in Prime. What actually happened in Mumbai in 2008 and how our special protection groups or the black cats and our soldiers, what was their contribution? You know how many people lost their lives? Innocent people, children, old people, around 170 odd lives were lost in Mumbai. And he was a brave soldier. Because of him, the Hotel Taj, which is there in Mumbai, in the gateway of India, I'm sure many of you would have visited Mumbai. That was a place where he and his team rescued people from there, cleared all these terrorists, except one who was captured. Who was the one who was captured? Kasab. Very good. So he was awarded the Ashoka Chakra. Ashoka Chakra is the highest award for peacetime. And his mother received the award on his behalf. And I need not tell you about Major Mukund Varadarajan. Have you seen Amaran? It's still there, very much in the theatres now. The story of Major Mukund Varadarajan. I'm sure you will connect with him. That's why I wanted to take his name. Right? So, why did I take all these names? It is just to start this day's talk by telling you or making you aware or reminding you of all the supreme sacrifices or the acts of courage done by these brave soldiers. Why have they done this? Was it for some fame? Money? Name? No. It was for their country, right? For their flag. See, because of these people, we all have the sense of safety and security, right? Which is you're seeing what is happening around you, what is happening between Iran, Ukraine, Russia, what is happening in Israel. I'm sure you're seeing the newspapers. How many of you read newspapers regularly? I'm sure all of you must be. Hands proof? No, none of you. Okay, something related to this. There is a very prominent news in the newspaper yesterday, which we have achieved as a country, which we are proud of. Any idea what is that news? It's something related to the defense, because this topic is on defense, so I want to bring out that news. Anybody? Please read newspapers. I'll be coming to the importance of being current with what is happening around you. Our country has proudly tested an hypersonic missile which can travel 5 times the sound of speed, and we have joined the elite club of just few countries in the world who are capable of this. It's there in the newspaper, right? Nobody has seen this news? Okay. Yeah, see, broadly there's been generally a lot of confusion with respect to what are the types of forces that we have. So I'll just quickly go through this. We have primarily the military, which is Army, Air Force and the Navy, and of course Coast Guard, which is paramilitary, but that is also part of the military, controlled or is governed by the Ministry of Defense. And we have the paramilitary forces, or the Central Armed Police Force, which is coming under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So this is just to give you an idea about the various, because I am sure you must be familiar, one of your relatives, somebody will be working in one of these, so you have an idea about, because many people have asked me the difference between Coast Guard, Indian Navy and Merchant Navy, right? These are something which is very confusing. So Indian Navy is an armed force. Coast Guard is a paramilitary force which gives coverage up to the exclusive economic zone, which is about 200 nautical miles from the shore. So I'll tell you what exclusive economic zone means, and of course they have their presence all over the world. Merchant Navy is purely commercial in nature. They are only for transfer of material and personnel. And let me tell you here that the armed forces, the supreme commander is the President of India. Yeah, good. These are statistics. Second largest army, fourth largest air force, and the fifth largest navy in the world that we can be proud of. Something about the maritime heritage which I have to cover before I get into the process of recruitment and the process of selection, etc. Why Navy? I think it's very much linked to the history or the maritime heritage of the country. As you can see, 3 sides we are covered by ocean, right? Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, and the Himalayas on the 4th side. So effectively we are on the lap of the Indian Ocean, right? And the only ocean to be named after the country is Indian Ocean. There is no other country after which the ocean is named. And why is this important? The location is important is because, tell me, what is this? The Red Sea and the Suez Canal here, right? And the Persian Gulf. And this is the Malacca Strait here. About 50 to 60% of the world traffic is passing through this area. This is the sea route through which the maximum passage happens. And from here, about 20 to 30% of the oil and LNG requirements, they are generated from here, they met from here. So you can imagine the kind of action that is there here in this area. So how strategically that we are located. If you go back to the history from the Indus Valley civilization onwards, we have had a very close relationship with the oceans, right? Whether it is for culture, whether for business requirements, or whether there has been colonial powers coming in, it's all been through the seas, right? And I'm sure how many of you are interested in history and do a lot of reading on your own, because I'm asking this to engineers, so that's why. See, the Mauryan dynasty, that is when Chandragupta was there, he had a fleet looking after the Admiralty fleet which was there. And all these people, they have been traveling from the west, say from the Greece onwards till far up to Japan. People have been traveling in those days. So you can imagine the kind of shipping, active shipping which was happening in those. In fact, the oldest dry dock known to be situated is in our country, in Lothal. This is in Gujarat. I just covered this. All these colonial powers, they have come through the seas, isn't it? Subsequently, there was a lull period with respect to the activity through the seas, but our shipbuilding activity never actually subsided. If you see this HMS Trincomalee, this vessel was built way back in 1817 using Malabar teak, or we call the Nilambur teak, right? The vessel is still afloat. It's in UK. So one of the oldest floating warships, and it was built here in our country. And there are ancient times when there was no technology like what we have nowadays. People used to have stitch ships. You must have heard about this. We are actually building one to revisit those days. We are building one ship using this technology of stitching together. There are no nails used, nothing at all. So with that, we are going to probably take the same route once again. We are going to probably go to Bali and back, or maybe go towards the Persian side and back, that is to Iran and back. So that is probably just to revisit how people have sustained with no technology which is there now available then. We have about 7,500 kilometer long coastline and 1,200 islands. How many of you knew this? Probably we only know Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar group of islands, right? But their numbers is 1,200. Now this United Nations, they have defined some laws of sea. So wherein you have heard about UNCLOS, UNCLOS. Now they have defined something called the exclusive economic zone, so which is approximately about 2 million square kilometers. This area which is shaded in the blue. Now this is the area wherein all the marine resources and wealth which is there, which is exclusively our property. It belongs to our country. So whatever shipping which is the fishing which is happening, or offshore oil rigging which is there, or any other marine resource which is available in this area, it is exclusively, this is our jurisdiction. Now this is the area, exclusive economic zone, where Coast Guard is actively patrolling, protecting our fishing community, our other seafarers, the other merchant ships which are plying in this area, the offshore rigging structures which are there. So this is our exclusive area which is part of our country. It's our responsibility to ensure that they are safe. You can see this numbers, 97% by volume and 70% by value. This is the trade which happens only through sea. And 15% of our total oil requirements come from offshore rigs which are available here in either of the seas, the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. Okay, now coming to the role of the Navy. Now, apart from being ready for war, all levels of wars, what else do? We have a diplomatic role to play, wherein our ships regularly keep going to other ports, foreign ports, interacting with other foreign countries. There is exchange of technology, there is training which is imparted, and we showcase our culture, our technology, and we interact. So there is a diplomacy which is maintained. So we are actually showing our hard power and our soft power, right? Constabulary role, Navy has a minimal role in this, but this is basically assisting the government of India in maintaining law and order, which is primarily done by the paramilitary forces. But you are aware, Army and Air Force and Navy to some extent is also supporting in this. Like there is something called a sea vigil exercise which is happening. Today's newspaper says that. You have seen this? There is an exercise which is happening for coastal security. And this is something which I am sure you can connect with. 2018 is fresh in our minds, right? And the contribution of the armed forces. Likewise, during tsunami, during cyclones, there are various operations like Op Rahat, where people have been rescued and brought back. This is all done by the armed forces. So they play multiple roles. Therefore, to protect our marine environment, we need a strong Navy. And Navy has been built brick by brick in the last 75 years since independence. I am not sure how many of you are aware that probably by the time we made the first car here, we had already made one warship. In way back in 1960, we built our first warship in the country in 1960, which was in Calcutta. And this is an asset that Navy has. Yeah. So what is our organization? The Chief of the Naval Staff, who is heading the Indian Navy, Admiral Dinesh Tripathi, and his team, they are based in Delhi, and under him there are 3 commander-in-chiefs who are 3-star admirals called the vice admirals, who are looking after the operational commands in Mumbai, Vizag, and training command in Kochi. Now, to ensure that we have the best of the forces, we need to have the best of the training imparted to them, right? So Kochi, where we are all based here now, does this job of imparting training to the various branches of the Navy, both officers as well as sailors. Now the training is divided in various parts of the country, starting from INS Valsura in Gujarat, and we have training all the way up to Chilka, which is based in Orissa, for the sailors. We also have a Tri-Services Command, which is based in Andaman Nicobar. I'll go a little faster, right? I think we'll come to the recruitment part first, which you are eagerly waiting. And as you all know, Navy is a multi-dimensional and networked force, operate at sea, in air, sub-sea, right? As you can all see, we have our own naval aviation wing and our own satellite. Okay. See, this is one very unique privilege or honor which an armed forces officer has in the Army, Air Force and the Navy, and that is they are given a commission by the President of India, or they are appointed by the President of India. There is a certificate of commission given to every officer who is appointed in Army, Air Force and the Navy. I have a certificate signed by late Dr. K.R. Narayanan, who was then President of India way back in 1997. The rank structure of the Navy. I am presently here. The Navy Chief is Admiral, and the 3-star admirals, I talked about the Commander-in-Chiefs, they are all Vice Admirals. And then the Rear Admiral, whom I just mentioned to you about, Major General Cardozo, I mentioned to him, that is the equivalent rank as a Rear Admiral in the Navy. So I have a slide for that also. These are the equivalent ranks in the 3 forces, just for you to have some kind of appreciation as to. So, and Navy's captain is equivalent to a colonel in the Army or a group captain in the Air Force. Yeah, I move ahead with the branch structure. What is the branch structure in the Navy? We have the executive branch, the technical branch, that is basically the marine engineers, the electrical engineering, the education branch which imparts training, and the medical branch which keeps all of us fit and healthy. There are few other branches which are specializations within the executive branch. The officers in the executive branch are the ones who command the ships. So there are specializations which are mentioned here. Aviation, submarine, the marine commandos or Marcos, hydrography. There are a few more branches. I am just moving ahead. We can take questions thereafter. In the technical branch, now we have, these are the various electrical, aeronautical engineering, naval architecture, which I am proudly part of, the marine engineering. We have a separate naval aviation branch of our own. Okay, just imagine you are inside a tube which is about 75 meters length and about 10 meters or 20 meters diameter, fully closed, no windows, and you are submerged for days together under sea. How is the life going to be? Interesting? But any idea what is the depth to which a submarine can dive? Any of you who try to do some reading on submarines? I'm sure you have read those war movies on submarines, and I'm sure you would have. Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So about 300 to 330 meters, what approximately a submarine can dive underwater. This is a facility which the Indian Navy has, which very few countries have, is the diving. That is the deep sea rescue vessel, which can rescue submarines up to a depth of about 1000 meters. The Marine Commandos. Are you aware that they are also assisting the army, and they were part of 2611 operations? They are based at Pangong, Dal Lake in Jammu Kashmir. So they have a very wide role to play, and they are one of the best in the world. Yeah, we have two women here, so it's very important for me to bring in this. I think 2022 onwards, there are a lot of changes which have happened in the armed forces. While I'll just cover the background, 1958 the Army Medical Corps started, and 92 the first time when Navy inducted women officers into the services, and now in 2022 the first batch of girls after 12th standard joined the National Defence Academy. National Defence Academy is the oldest tri-services academy in the world. So we have created history by doing this, because there never were women being trained there, girls were never being trained there. So this happened in 2022, and now the figures that I have flashed, about 11,000 women serving in armed forces, about 40,000 in the paramilitary forces, and there are no limitations now. They are serving in all combatant and non-combatant roles. This picture I was wanting to flash. This is very latest, as of 7th of November. The President of India, the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, you are aware she flew on a Sukhoi 30 aircraft last year in April, and the President herself was there on board the aircraft carrier on 7th of November. Just about a couple of weeks back she was there on board. So these photos are latest. We have three brave officers. The naval officer you can see in the center, she is the first woman commanding officer of a warship. Then we have Squadron Leader Chaturvedi, who was he was a fighter pilot flying the Sukhoi 30, the first one to do that, first women officer to do that. This photo is something which caught my attention. 2022 Times of India. Their father and daughter, Group Captain Sharma and his daughter, father flying with the daughter in the same advanced jet or jet trainer. So this is something which, it's a statement photograph which came in the front page of Times of India, showing that we have changed. Jan 23, the women contingent, the platoon commander is a women officer who is leading a contingent from the Navy. So friends, when we join the Navy, there is a continuous training which is happening, the continuous value addition which is happening at every stage in your career. Today I can very proudly say that one of our alumni from Department of Ship Technology has reached MIT USA in Boston and he is doing his masters in naval architecture. He just left in June 2024, just 4 months back. So there are regularly officers being sent to IITs and abroad to various universities for training for different types of courses as part of their training while they are going up the chain, and also for short courses which happens regularly as part of their whichever branch they belong to, as part of their expertise, and then to add value to their, and so that they can contribute better. So this is a continuous process in the Navy, and this is all at Navy's expenditure. Some photographs of life at sea, but then you've already seen the video, so I can probably go fast with this, and I'll just come to the recruitment process. I'm just flashing these photographs for you to see. This boat lowering and hoisting operations which happen daily. This is a search and rescue operation by Hello. This is a photograph of a MiG-29 taking off from a flight deck of an aircraft carrier. This is just some glimpses of various activities which happen at sea. Small arms training being given at sea. People also play volleyball. Yeah, now the very important topic which I am sure all of you are waiting for is, how do I join the armed forces? Primarily there are two types of entries, which is a UPSC entry and the non-UPSC entry. UPSC is Union Public Service Commission. Now they conduct exam called the National Defence Academy Entrance Examination after the 12th, which you can appear for, and in case you are cracking that exam, then you are selected, shortlisted for Service Selection Board interview. If not, after graduation you can write the Combined Defence Services exam, which is after graduation, or while you are pursuing graduation in your final year, you can write this exam and then join the NDA or the IMA or the Officers Training Academies. The various non-UPSC entries are there where the respective armed forces directly recruit. They shortlist based on their exams or based on the readiness of your documentation, but then you are shortlisted for SSB. So finally, either it is a UPSC route or a non-UPSC route, you will have to clear Service Selection Board interview. Only then you can join as an officer in the armed forces. Whether it is Army, Air Force or the Navy, the Service Selection Board is clearing it is mandatory. So these are various non-UPSC entries wherein you can apply online for various entries based on then evaluating your certificates and checking everything for correctness. They will shortlist you and thereafter you are called for Service Selection Board interview. Now I had mentioned about the commission by the President of India, right? So this commission is two types. One is a permanent commission, which is where you serve for 20 years and beyond till your retirement or superannuation, or short service commission, which is 10 years of service, which can be extended to 14 years, or few of them depending on their merit and vacancy can be given permanent commission. So these are the two types of basic commissions in all the three armed forces. Some of the physical attributes which are slightly flexible with Army, Air Force and the Navy. depending on which region you are from. Like people, some like say from northeast, they have some relaxation with respect to height, etc. So this is just the general attributes that I have flashed. So what is the procedure for recruitment? So you look at the notification. Nowadays, in the age of social media, where you are very active, you have got websites of Army, Air Force, Navy, UPSC, Coast Guard. I will be sharing those links with you. You just keep probably you can enable notifications in your phones, smartphones. I'm sure all of you have smartphones, and there is even app for Indian Navy, so you can download this app. You can even check your eligibility there, wherein you can give your age, gender and qualification, and you will get to know which all entries that you are eligible for. So once you apply, you are shortlisted for SSB if there is non-UPSC entry. If not, you are shortlisted or given a hall ticket for your written exam if it is a UPSC entry. After that, the common part is the SSB. So once you clear your SSB is a 5-day process of selection. I'll just briefly touch upon that. Once you clear SSB and subject to clearing your medicals, you are put in the All India merit list, and then you get your appointment orders. So this is the general procedure of selection. Now a little bit about the service selection board. Now see, this service selection board is a time tested process. Early 1900s, I think the US Navy, there are subsequently the British Navy, they all, even now, this is a methodology used by worldwide armed forces for selection of their officers in the armed forces. So for Army, Air Force and Navy. Now in brief, what is the selection? There is a 2-stage selection process. The preliminary selection is the first day when you reach there, you have a set of intelligence, verbal and non-verbal testing. You have a picture perception and description test where you are given a blurred. How many of you have attended SSB, not the naval officers but the others? Yeah, I'm sure one of you could just get up, please. So you could clear the first day, or you were screened out? Excellent. Could you clear? Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello.
Yeah. I can hear you.
My name is Adit Purush. I am currently studying SOE, third year BTech IT.
Very good.
I had gone for my MBA SSB. It was at Bhopal. I got recommended from 20 SSB Bhopal, but I could not join the academy because I was medical out because my power was beyond the acceptable limits for army.
Okay.
So now I'm planning to write CDH next year.
Very good.
And I have done LASIK just 3 weeks ago so that I can be eligible for Navy. And next year I'll be writing CDH and
I sincerely wish you all the very best. Yeah. So, yeah, please take your seat. So once the stage 1 is cleared, that is the first day you clear this, first or the second day morning, those who clear this stage go to the next stage wherein you are retained in that place for another 5 days for the subsequent interview, which are different stages, which I'll just go through in brief. I don't want to cover. I am not an expert in SSB, but then I just wanted to. So this is a screening test which happens on the day 1, where you are subjected to picture perception and description test, where they show you a blurred picture. You are expected to identify the characters, write a small story about that picture, and thereafter you are supposed to discuss that story in a group. So once all this is done, they will assess your logical abilities, your confidence levels, your time management. The various officer-like qualities are assessed and gauged by them. The first set of filtering happens there. Say for example, 400 candidates are called for a particular SSB. First day probably they will retain 10%, depending on how many do well. Say 40 are retained, remaining are requested to then proceed back. There is no limit on the number of attempts that you can make for SSB. So it's very important. So you can make n number of attempts. Yes, the only thing is the age limit, which upper limit is 26.5 to 27 years. Please join us. Please come. So please don't be disheartened. I know of people who have joined Navy or Army, Air Force after clearing SSB in the 5th attempt. There are people who have done that. Now this is a day 2 where they have a set of various psychology tests which are there. There are psychologists who are there to assess. They are very trained senior people. They know how to actually assess various attributes of yours. I'll not go into these details. Then the subsequent days you have group tests, various kinds of group tests wherein they will look at your capabilities as a leader, how you can lead a team or a group given to you. They will also put you as a team member and assess you. So there are various tests which happen wherein they are looking at your ability to tomorrow probably lead as an armed forces officer. Finally, you come to the person, that is the interview on the last day, and then the results are announced. So those who make it at that point in time are told to stay back for your medicals, and rest of the candidates then they move back. And if you are selected for medicals, or there could be a temporary rejection, they will ask you to come back after a couple of months once you are clearing your medical issue which has been reported or observed, and thereafter you are cleared, and then you are given an appointment letter. Just some photographs of various activities which are happening, or some glimpses of activities in SSB. The procedure is exactly the same for Army and Air Force. It's just that there are dedicated SSBs for Army, Air Force and the Navy separately. The selection for the paramilitary forces is different, Coast Guard is different. What I am talking about is only for Army, Air Force and the Navy, for men and women. These are some of the websites. You can either take a photograph of this, you can share it with others. I can leave the presentation behind, so you can take this. So kindly register yourself once online and give your mobile number which is linked to your Aadhaar, so that the notification is enabled. You will keep getting reminders about various entries which come up. And I'm sure all of you know NDA and CDS, both of them are twice a year. It is not once, it is twice a year. So you have 2 opportunities to crack these exams, right? Yeah, some of our naval assets which I wanted to just show some photographs of. Identify this, both of Vikrant and Vikrant, I'm sure all of you are aware, is the largest aircraft or the warship to be ever built in the country, designed and built in the country. Yes? And where was it constructed? Cochin Shipyard. Very good. We are very proud of our alumni, right? And let me tell you, there are over 350 naval architects serving or in the Navy who are passed out from this department. And there were a large number of officers associated with this project, even from the Navy. Our CMD, Cochin Shipyard, is an alumni of this department. So under his leadership, the Cochin Shipyard built this mega mighty aircraft carrier. So we have different types of warships depending on their function. They are the destroyers. All of them designed and built in the country, either in Mazagaon docks or in GRSC, which is in Calcutta. The further smaller ships called the frigates, missile corvettes and patrol ships, again built in one of the shipyards in the country. Yeah, some of the other naval aviation assets, the MiG-29s, these can land on the aircraft carriers, Vikrant and Vikramaditya. Anybody can tell me what is the difference, or the challenge with a naval pilot operating a MiG-29 on board a flight deck compared to landing on the shore? Short runway. Can somebody rise, please? I can't see you. Yeah, please. What is your name? Yeah, okay, Abhishek. Yeah, please go on. Very good. Okay. Relative speed between the aircraft carrier and the aircraft. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? There is one more aspect. Yeah, please, Ghosh. No, I am talking about the functionality. The process of landing and takeoff, there is something more to it. There is something called, yeah, please, man. That's true, they maintain a particular speed. They are not supposed to come down below that particular speed. But there is something called the arresters which are there, right? When the aircrafts are landing, there are arresters which hold on. There are hooks which hold on to the wire ropes. This is to arrest them because they have a restricted or limited runway, right? So there are arresters which hold these aircraft. You must have seen the videos. In this video which I flashed, you must have seen that. Probably you can see it once again later. You can Google and see this. So we have long range maritime patrol aircrafts. So these are some of the assets. Any idea where was the Dhruv helicopters made? HAL, somebody said this. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Which is this class of submarine? I know the name is there right here. These are built in Mazgaon docks in Mumbai. They have built 7 out of the 8 of them which they are supposed to. I think the last one is also going to be coming out. Yes, we have a nuclear powered submarine which has been built in our country. Very few countries have this. Aircraft carriers, nuclear powered submarines. We have our own aircrafts designed and built in our countries. Some of the facilities with the families of naval personnel get: accommodation, world class medical care, and these are available in all the cities and they are common, they are shared. Army, Air Force, Navy share their infrastructure. Club facilities, so there is a good work-life balance. Golf courts, swimming, adventure sports. You will see another photograph of family members utilizing these facilities, going out for sailing. This photograph reminds me of Commander Abhilash Tommy, who is retired from the Navy recently. Heard about him? What did he do? Circumnavigation. One more word you are missing. It is solo circumnavigation. Solo means he circumnavigated the globe alone. And he attempted it second time. He met with an accident. And I think thereafter he again has gone for the third time, if I am not wrong. Yes? So Navy and naval officers, the sailors and the family members, they have gone all the way to the North Pole. People have gone to the Antarctica. So there are so many adventure activities which keep happening. Now as we speak or as we are here now, there is a team of tri-services, all women expedition, which is going to circumnavigate the globe very soon. They are just in the advanced stages of the training. Or I think they have just been flagged off. I think they have just recently been flagged off, right? Okay. The Navy Children's School, which is there in every city where the naval bases are there, or there is a tie-up with the Kendriya Vidyalayas for the admission of the students. There are various housing schemes. So I am just covering various facilities which Navy extend in case you are taking up Navy as a career. So your family is secure. They have been extended all the facilities. They get to, have various, adventure activities where they can participate. Yeah, I'm just running through these photographs of, see, it is not just the NDA or the INA. There are various other major academies. I'm just showing their photographs. Edimala, as you are aware, is the largest naval academy which is there in the Asia, right? You are aware of this? So this is where all the naval officers get trained. These are some photographs of the Naval Academy. The various activities which are happening there, night camps, 7-course dinners. Yeah, I mentioned about the National Defence Academy. Now this is the oldest tri-services academy, training academy for armed forces in the world. Established way back, I think in 1955 or early 50s. This is another Air Force Academy in Dindigul in Hyderabad. You saw that photograph of that father and daughter? They have this advanced jet trainers which are based here. The Officers Training Academy in Bihar, Gaya. For the Army, Officers Training Academy in Chennai. Yeah. So what I was coming to is, Navy is just not a career. It is serving, it's a way of life. Serving the nation with pride in uniform. So I think I should throw open the forum for questions now, because before I take you to further, any questions from your side? Anybody? So very clear? Yeah, please. See, I was fortunate to get selected the first time itself. It was way back in 1992. I'm sure none of you would have been born then. 1992 is a year when I was in Bangalore and I had proceeded to Bhopal for my SSB, and fortunately I was selected in the first go itself. But then, thanks to somebody who helped me with at least telling me about, then, because my mother was serving in the army then, and that time there was an officer who actually trained me, at least in telling me what are the different types of tests, what is SSB all about. So it was very nicely covered by that officer. So thanks to him, I was not actually lost. I did have some idea about what SSB is about. Coming to a very important aspect as to how do you people prepare. Now, academics is foremost, irrespective of which career you choose, isn't it? Whichever career, academics comes first, because that is your professional part. But then, coming to the second point which I mentioned to you, is being abreast with the current affairs. You need to be aware what is happening around you. See, there is something called the PIQ, Personal Information Questionnaire, that you are supposed to fill and give during the SSB, wherein they ask you certain basic details about you. Based on your hobbies, your interests, and what you're good at, all that, there is a questionnaire which I have shared it with the SNAS members. They can probably, you can take it, you can fill it and see. The questions during the interview are mostly based on that PIQ. Coming to physical fitness, yes, it's self-explanatory. You need to be physically and mentally fit. Obviously, if you are taking up any profession, I don't say only for armed forces. In every career, I'm sure any company will come for a campus placement. They will want to see a fit candidate who, can be sharp, mentally fit, physically fit, isn't it? So this certainly is not only limited to the career in armed forces. See, one aspect which has been observed during the SSBs, or the feedback that we get, is the candidates not clearing SSB because of the lack of self-confidence or lack of awareness and maybe a fear of public speaking. So there is something which I'll come to as a self-description or assessment test, which I'm sure, Ghosh, you have gone through it. There are 4 or 5 questions which are thrown to you. You are told to write about what your parents think about yourself, what your family members or friends think about yourself, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and what you would like to be. So these are set of 4 or 5 questions which are you are asked to write about them, and then they ask you about this. You have to be true to yourself in writing this. Trust me, it is not easy. If in any interview, for example, you can ask your seniors, maybe in the final years, who have faced some placement interviews. When the interview team comes and they're interviewing you and asking you a basic question, please describe yourself or tell me about yourself. How do you sum up about yourself in 30 seconds is a challenge. And friends, you know that there is an industry flourishing which writes your biodata, isn't it? They take payment from you and write your yes or no. Actually, you should be able to write about yourself, isn't it? So it's very important for you people to at least start training in this direction. Self-description, writing about yourself, knowing about yourself. You can share it with best of your friends and ask them to see if what do they think about it, what is your view about they think about you, is it correct or not. Trust me, it is an exercise worth it, irrespective of which career you choose. Yes, nowadays with social media, I'm talking about 92 when I had to prepare, I just had nothing but somebody just telling me about what SSB is all about. But today, you are very, very fortunate. You have got videos in YouTubes, you have got various websites wherein a lot of material is available for you to be preparing for SSB, right? So please make use of that. I have shared one book, e-book about SSB. So you can read through this. And nowadays there are a lot of books available on Amazon, Flipkart and all that which you can buy. Yeah, see what schools or colleges can do is basically, I keep going to schools also regularly. So it's very important to make people aware about your war heroes and what they have done, what your martyrs have done. How is it that you are safe, you have a sound sleep, you feel secure? Is because there are people guarding your borders. So you need to know about them. So basically this is an advice for them, not for you. You can just read through this. I am just leaving you behind with these photographs of the capability that is indigenous, the Atmanirbhar Bharat that we are looking at. And you all know that we are in our Amrit Kal, right? 2047. There is a maritime vision statement which has come out as to where we see our country when we are 100 years since our independence. So we have this huge aircraft carrier which is our asset, our own designed and built. A submarine which has been built in our country. This is an LCA Tejas which has been built by HSL again. So you guys, one of you could be probably, in one of these mighty, aircraft carriers or aircrafts or submarines. Now this is a video which I want to play. I think, can you just go back? It's a video that, unable to play this. See, it's a passing out parade in INA. It's a small clipping which I had taken where the gold medalist, Sub-Lieutenant Sandita Patnaik, is being congratulated by the Chief of Army Staff. This is the latest photograph of this year. I think you are unable to play the video. So I'm just leaving you behind with this video. And finally, ask not what your country has done, but ask what you have done for your country. So this is a thought-provoking statement which I want to leave you with. This is a Tri-Services emblem. I am through. Jai Hind. But I am open to questions from you. Due to paucity of time, I had to run through few slides. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Anybody? Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kamesh Singh, and my question is.
Can you repeat your name, please?
Kamesh Singh.
Kamesh
Singh.
Singh. Yeah.
So, have you ever thought of joining the Marcos?
No.
No.
Frankly, no.
No.
See, I would say that me joining the Navy certainly was by accident, because I never knew about what Navy is all about, what Naval Architecture branch is all about, frankly. But today you people are well informed and you know exactly the pros and cons of every career option that you have in front of you, right? And this is another opportunity, for you to understand about, in whatever 1.5 2 hours, about what armed forces is broadly about. You've got a broad idea, right? So probably I would have had some better idea about I would have probably gone for a different branch, or I would have. But suddenly I didn't have any plans of joining the Marco. It's not easy. Yeah. Wish you all the best, Kamesh. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody from the School of Engineering specifically? Yeah, Ghosh. Yeah, please.
Sir, what exactly are the criteria to become a pilot in the Indian Navy? Do you know the exact eligibility?
Yeah. See, the PABT, the Pilot Aptitude Battery Test, that is something which is common for the pilots of the Air Force, or you're joining the Army or the Navy, because all three have their own air wings. Of course, Air Force does have. So it is mandatory to clear that test. So that is the primary thing apart from the SSB. So which you are aware. Yes, the eyesight requirements will be more stringent in that case. I'll not be able to exactly tell you the values, but yes,
And
these are the
what
two
about
things.
is there like CGPA cap for all the, do you know?
See, no, not for the pilot. As you are all aware, after 12th standard, you need to have a JEE score, JEE main score, which is mandatory now. So you will have to give your JEE exams, and the score is also seen, and then they decide the cutoff based on that particular year's performance and then the applicants. So that is one criteria where that score is required. Like for example, if you are joining the legal branch, I think the CLAT scores are required. So likewise.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Anybody from School of Engineering? See, last year I went to Andhra University, where I had a crowd with students from various disciplines. And trust me, after this talk of mine about, I was told 53 candidates applied and got shortlisted for SSB. So that is the kind of feedback I got very positively from there. And I had also been to IMU Vizag, where about 23 candidates got shortlisted for SSB. But what I'm coming to is, after the SSB, the numbers are going down. So it is required for you people to prepare for SSB very seriously. So I have given you a broad idea about what SSB is all about, but then you certainly will have to prepare. It is not just about the physical part, it is about actually cracking the psychology tests, the time management in which you crack. So that is very important for you to be aware as to what all is happening there. Like for example, the picture perception test, I think, wherein there are 12 pictures shown to you one after another for every 30 seconds, and you need to write a story for each picture. So in one sitting you are supposed to do that. So if you people have no practice, when you go there, you are not able to finish that in time. So I'm just giving an example. That's all. So shall we call it a day? Okay. I want to formally thank the head of the Department of Ship Technology, Dr. Shiv Prasad sir, SNAS Secretary Navneet, and lastly all of you who have taken out time. I know you have your internals, you have your vivas going on, all that, and you have taken out this time and been giving me your patient hearing. So I thank each one of you and sincerely wish you all the very best. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Now I would like to invite our HOD, Dr. Sadish Babu sir, and Beena ma'am to hand over the token of gratitude, please. Sir, this right here, the token of gratitude. It's special. It's considered special. I mean, it's a part of the Golden Jubilee anniversary that we'll be observing later on. Um, Now I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Captain Manoj Kumar for taking time from his valuable schedule, making this a very informative workshop on the special topic, and maintaining a constant connection with the department as you have been conducting. This is your third consecutive year conducting this workshop. I would like to thank the faculty and students, especially from the School of Engineering, SOE, and School of Engineering, Duduk, and Instrumentation. They all have attended this workshop, and it's great to have you all accept our invitation and attend this workshop. This marks the end of the workshop. Thank you. The tea and snacks, it's been arranged outside, so you all may have that. You all may have enjoy that too.